I mean, what do you have that's 8 years old that is still as good as the day you got it? Hi guys, I'm Chris Lovelock. Let's do this. Today I'm talking about the Sony NEX FS700, which, as I said in my previous video, is still one of my favourite cameras today. It shoots 10-bit RAW, 120 frames a second at 4K, and even 240 frames a second at 2K. But before we dive into more of that, let's start right at the very beginning. Back in 2012, Sony launched the FS700 to follow its predecessor, the FS100, and it was launched with a pretty whopping price tag of around $7,000, which is £4,500 of our money. Sony launched two models, the FS700E or EK and the FS700R. The only difference being the FS700R had the RAW output already built into it. And if you bought an FS700E or EK, you had to then pay another £500 to get that RAW upgrade installed. Fast forward to today, and if you're going to buy one used, you'll probably find one for about £1,500. If you are going to purchase one, do be careful whether it's an E or an R, because if it's an E, don't forget you've got to spend another 500 quid getting it 4K ready. History lesson over. All that aside, it's still an incredible camera today. This camera is 4K ready. However, it's 4K ready when you externally record with the use of an Atomos Shogun Inferno or an Odyssey Q7. For a camera of this age to be able to record 10-bit 4K RAW video is a pretty epic achievement, and it's probably the biggest reason why I purchased this camera. As I said, it does high frame rate shooting. So at 4K you can go up to 120 frames a second, and at 2K you can stretch that even further to 240 frames a second, capturing some incredible slow motion footage. It records in Sony's S-Log2 picture profile, which is notoriously not that great to color grade with, but give it the time of day and a bit of patience, you can get a really great image out of it. And I found with the footage that I shot, it was completely usable and looked really great after it had a grade. When talking the ergonomics of the camera, it's quite back heavy, the top handle sits quite far forward, and then you need quite a heavy or large lens on the front to balance it out. Weigh in your external recorder and you've got quite a top heavy camera. All that aside, I like a boxy camera. I like that I can tuck it in tight, it feels nice and robust, and I know exactly what I'm going to be able to get out of it. As I say, for me, regardless, this camera is pretty epic still in my eyes. I mean, I'm biased. I own this camera and I've liked it since the day it came out. The footage you can get out of it is absolutely fantastic and weighs up massively against some of the footage I've shot on cameras of today's spec. But in the meantime, I'm going to plan my next shoot with this, which will definitely be a high-speed shoot. Until the next one's out, give me a like, give me a subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.